Good afternoon and welcome to the Assembly Committee on Natural Resources. Will the committee secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members Considine. Present. DeLong. Present. Gurr. Here. Hanson. Here. Jackson. Karras. Kasama. Here. LaRue Hatch. Here. Marzola. Present. Watts. Here. Chair Anderson.
And I am present. If you would please mark Assembly Member Jackson absent excused and Assembly Member Karras present when she arrives. I want to welcome everyone to this meeting, those here in Carson City, as well as anyone joining us in Las Vegas or listening online. And also welcome. On today's agenda, we have 3 bill hearings and a work session at the end. I think we can dispense with the housekeeping. This is probably a crowd that might have been here once or twice, so I think you already know it. You could probably say it yourself. So we'll just get started right away with Senate Bill 36. I'm going to open up the bill hearing on Senate Bill 36, which revises provisions related to water. Thank you for joining us today, Senator Pezzina, Laurel Saito, and and Jeff Fontaine. You may begin whenever you are ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson, Vice Chair LaRue Hatch, and members of the Assembly Committee on Natural Resources. It's so nice to see you all again. For the record, my name is Julie Pezzina, and I represent Senate District 12 in Clark County. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 36, which establishes provisions relating to the conservation of groundwater. And I will say this may seem a bit like Groundhog's Day for those of you after the AB 104 hearing, though this is just the water rights retirement portion. It will be very, very striking the similarities. With me today to present SB 36 are Laurel Saito with the Nature Conservancy, as well as Jeff Fontaine with the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority. So I had the pleasure of serving as chair of the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Natural Resources during the 2023-2024 interim, following in Assemblymember Watt's footsteps, and got to serve alongside Vice Chair Anderson as well as Assemblymember LaRue Hatch and Assemblymember DeLong, and it was a wonderful opportunity to learn a lot more about some of the challenges we are having in the state and about how we can help our state, especially as the most arid in the nation, when it comes to water scarcity. And that is where this bill came back. Some of you may remember from last session, Senate Bill 176 with Senator Goicoechea for a water rights retirement program, and that is where this bill was born. The interim committee learned about water rights retirement programs in other states, as well as Nevada's voluntary water rights retirement pilot program during the interim. The pilot program received $25 million from the state's American Rescue Plan Act funding, which was used to successfully retire over 20,000 acre-feet of water rights from willing sellers. This program, implemented by the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, granted funds to 4 entities: the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority, Humboldt River Basin Water Authority, the Walker Basin Conservancy, and Southern Nevada Water Authority. And based on various recommendations, the interim committee voted unanimously to carry the bill before you today. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Saito, and then after that to Mr. Fontaine to provide additional background.
Thank you very much. My name is Laurel Saito, S-A-I-T-O, and I am the Nevada Water Strategy Director of the Nature Conservancy, Nevada chapter. And we really thank Senator Pezzina, Chair Anderson, and the Interim Committee on Natural Resources for bringing forward Senate Bill 36 on groundwater rights retirement and recognizing the importance of water resources for the future of the health and well-being of the people and economies of our state. We know that overuse of groundwater in some places is depleting this precious resource and impacting other water users as well as our natural resources. And these impacts can take years, decades, or even centuries to reverse, and in some cases they are irreversible. The Nature Conservancy supports enabling tools to resolve overuse of groundwater, and this bill offers a tool to address these situations. As Senator Pezzina said, this tool has been used in other states like Kansas and Colorado for years to address groundwater table declines affecting water users and ecosystems, as indicated on the attachment we submitted with our testimony. We stand ready to help with implementing a voluntary groundwater rights retirement program in Nevada by building on lessons learned from these existing programs and working with water managers and other stakeholders. And we're also interested in considering ways to incentivize the retirement of groundwater rights to reduce impacts to groundwater-dependent ecosystems. So we urge your support of this important legislation, and I'll turn it over to Jeff to talk about the bill.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson, Vice Chair LaRue Hatch, and members of the committee. For the record, Jeff Fontaine, and I'm the Executive Director of the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority and the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority. SB 36 is a standalone water rights retirement bills. Both SB 36 and AB 104 have taken different paths, but now have the same water rights retirement language. We also want to thank Senator Pezzina for her leadership on SB 36, and also Chair Anderson for moving AB 104 forward. Both the Senator and Chair have worked very closely with a number of water stakeholders in our group on various amendments, and there were several amendments to get things linked together, but we appreciate them very much. As Senator Pezzina indicated, CNRWA and HRBWA implemented a water rights retirement program in the interim, and between the two organizations, we retired over 17,000 acre-feet of water in 3 groundwater basins where the groundwater levels are sharply declining, and that includes Diamond Valley, and that's the state's only designated critical management area. Chair Anderson, I know that the committee has heard almost all the provisions that are in SB 36 when you heard AB 104. There are a few amendments that were made in the Senate that are now in Senate Bill 36 that the committee may or may not wish to hear, or I could highlight various provisions of the bill, whatever the pleasure of the committee.
Why don't you just do a quick highlight, although I think there's just 2 or 3 small highlights.
There are, again, for the record, Jeff Fontaine. There are only a couple of amendments that were made in the Senate. And the first one appears in Section 2, 2C on the top of page 4. And the exact language, application requests a change to or reinstatement of. That is a change that was amended in the Senate, and it appears, I think, 1 or 2 other places in the bill. But that was really just to make sure that what we're talking about when these water rights are retired, as far as the state engineer is concerned, that we're talking about the specific water rights that are retired are no longer available for future appropriation. The only other change that I am aware of that was made in the Senate is changing, and it appears in various sections throughout the bill, the word decreed. In the AB 104 version in the Assembly, it was vested, it's now decreed. That's a more formal and process and classification used by the state engineer, so that amendment was also made in the Senate. And those are the only 2 Senate amendments that I'm aware of.
Julie Pezzina for the record, and I would say that's just to make AB 104 and SB 36 consistent, and that's why those changes were made as well upon advice. And I also am remiss, because Assemblymember Gurr, you were also actively involved in this as well on the interim committee. And with that, we would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, and I do have a few. It looks like Assemblymember Watts.
Thank you, Chair. I think you just answered this, but since it was the end of your presentation, I'll just confirm. So are all of the provisions and language in this bill consistent with the language for this program within AB 104?
Julie Pezzina for the record, and thank you for the question. Yes, it is consistent, and that was why those amendments were made that you didn't hear with AB 104, because those amendments were made to AB 104 later and are now consistent with SB 36.
Thank you, and Assemblymember DeLong.
Thank you, Chair. I want to follow on my colleague's question. So the bill is consistent with AB 104, and thank you for the presentation. Can you specify what's different in this bill from what's in 104, i.e. why do we need this bill since we already have 104?
Julie Pazina, and thank you for the question. And I should have asked earlier, may I go direct? Thank you so much. Assemblymember, so SB 36 is a standalone water rights retirement bill. Whereas AB 104, you may recall, was more of an omnibus water bill. So this is just the water rights retirement portion. This also, for those of you here last session, who I mentioned SB 176 earlier, but this has been a very long road for Senator Pete Gokachia to get this water rights retirement program in motion. And this bill was and is, we hope, the culmination of that. And this is just the water rights retirement, not the rest of the water omnibus. And we're just making sure that the dream is realized, if you will. Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, thank you. And I know that there's many people that are like, we didn't even need to have this hearing, and that is very much a possibility, but I know that there were also many individuals that had worked on both bills, and so they had asked for both bills to be able to have that hearing, and that way everybody that worked on it would be able to get that recognition. So thank you so much, and I think we're going to move on to testimony. Are there anybody here that would like to offer testimony and support here in Carson City? Come on up to the table.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Christy Cabrera-Georgeson, Deputy Director of the Nevada Conservation League. We are here in strong support. As you've heard, our water resources are precious, and this is another important tool to conserving them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson and members of the Natural Resources Committee. My name is Katie Hale with the Griffin Company on behalf of EDF Action, a public interest organization working to secure clean, reliable water for all people now and in the future. We are in support of SB 36. This bill takes a meaningful step forward in addressing declining groundwater levels by establishing the Nevada Voluntary Water Rights Retirement Program, a tool that will help reduce water demand while building toward long-term water security for all Nevadans. Groundwater is vital to the well-being of Nevada's communities, economy, and ecosystems, yet many of the state's groundwater systems are already showing signs of serious overuse and stress. By establishing a permanent program, SB 36 will allow the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to implement science-based criteria and monitoring mechanisms to maximize water savings and support a more resilient, sustainable water future for Nevada. Thank you.
Good morning, or I guess afternoon. For the record, Ed James with the Carson Water Subconservancy District, and we are in support of this bill. It's a tool that will help. It's not going to answer everything, but it's one more tool that we need to deal with these water shortages as we move forward to meet the future demands of the communities and the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Anderson, members of the committee. Andy Belanger with the Southern Nevada Water Authority, here today in support of SB 36. We want to thank Senator Pazina, members of the Joint Interim Standing Committee, for this standalone bill. It really is a capstone of a long and illustrious career of Senator Goycochea, the work he's done over many legislative sessions to protect Nevada's water resources and ensure that areas that are overpumped get back into balance eventually. And this is one more tool. So we appreciate the bill, and we urge your support.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson and members of the committee. Jeff Rogan, Jeffrogan, on behalf of Clark County. Clark County also supports SB 36, and thanks, Senator Pazina, for bringing it forward. Thank you.
Bobby Ernott for the record, here on behalf of the Walker Basin Conservancy Group. I just want to echo the sentiments of the previous speakers, and we urge your full support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nikki Bailey Lundahl, Vice President of the Nevada Mining Association. We are in support of this bill and all the work that's been done in this program. Thank you.
Seeing no one else here in Carson City, is there anybody in Las Vegas? Seeing none. Elko? None. AVH?
To testify in support for Senate Bill 36, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You may begin.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Madam Chair and members of the committee. This is Jake Tibbetts. That's Tibbitts, and I'm the Natural Resources Manager for Eureka County, speaking on behalf of Eureka County in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
Chair, the lines are open and working. We have no more callers for support.
Thank you. We'll now next move to opposition. Excuse me. Please testify in opposition if you oppose. Come on up here in Carson City. Seeing none. Clark County. Seeing none. Elko. AVH.
Chair, we have no callers for opposition at this time.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to testify who is neutral on the measure?
Thank you, Chair. James Sunmeyer, Director of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We appreciate working with the sponsor and other entities that are out there and making sure this language is appropriate and we can do some great things with it. And they did a great job helping us during their interim last session where we were actually able to acquire $25 million worth of water rights and retire them. So we appreciate the work. Thank you.
Anyone else here in Carson City? Seeing none. Clark County. Elko. I'm assuming AVH, there's nobody on the phone, but is there anybody there for neutral?
Chair, we have no callers for neutral.
Thank you. I will close the hearing on Senate. Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like to make any closing remarks? Seeing none, I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 36. Thank you, Senator. Let's open the bill hearing on Senate Bill 108, which revises provisions governing the account for channel clearance, maintenance, restoration, surveying, and monumenting programs. Thank you for joining us today. You may begin whenever you're ready.
Well, thank you, Assembly Member Chair Anderson and members of the Assembly Committee on Natural Resources. My name is Robin Titus, and I represent Senate District 17, and I've already given you the litany of the number of counties that I represent, so I won't bother you with that again today. Thank you for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 108, and with me at the table is Edwin James, the General Manager of the Carson Water Subconservancy District, to help me present this bill. Senate Bill 108 revises provisions governing the account for channel clearance, maintenance, restoration, surveying, and monumenting program. Under current law, the state maintains a fund to support projects for clearing, maintaining, restoring, and surveying navigable rivers. The state engineer manages this fund and may request additional money from the contingency account if the balance falls below $250,000 or is insufficient to issue grants. This bill will make two key changes. It raises the threshold for discretionary funding requests from the contingent account from $250,000 to $500,000. This bill also clarifies that only uncommitted funds are counted when determining the fund's balance. These updates aim to ensure the timely availability of resources for critical waterway projects across the state. We've given and submitted to the committee the legislative history on the channel clearance maintenance program. It starts back in 1973 when we first developed this. And at this point, I'm going to turn the rest of the presentation over to Mr. James.
Great, thank you. For the record, Edwin James, I'm General Manager for the Carson Water Subconservancy District, and I appreciate that Senator Titus was so quick, otherwise I'd have to stretch out my support for the other bill longer here, but as we move forward. So today I want to discuss why SB 108, which is commonly known as the Clearing and Snagging Bill, is an important one to pass. As you may know, the state of Nevada claims ownership to many of the river beds across the state. And with ownership comes responsibility on ongoing maintenance. Over time, sediment can accumulate in river channels, reducing the capacity and increasing the risk of flooding, and also impacting bridges and other infrastructure. Additionally, fallen trees and other debris can pose safety hazards. The cleaning and maintaining river channels are done mostly by local entities. On the Carson River, it is the conservancy districts that perform most of this work on behalf of the state. Their only funds to do this is from the state funds. These funds are not only critical for routine maintenance, but they can also be used to match with federal grants, which enables larger scale projects. SB 108 addresses two key issues in the channel clearing statute. One, it increases the funding cap of the channel clearing account from $250,000 to $500,000. And two, it allows the state engineer to request additional funding from the state contingency account to replenish the channel clearing account, excluding committed funds. Both provisions are essential. Increasing the funding cap from $250,000 to $500,000 recognizes the rising costs of channel clearance and reflects the statewide scope of these projects. The current cap hampers progress by requiring the state engineer to return to the interim finance committee multiple times to seek additional approval to move clearing and snagging projects forward. The second provision addresses a timing issue. Currently, if funds are committed for projects but not yet spent, often due to permit delays, the state engineer does not request additional allocations from the contingency fund until the funds have been spent. This restriction prevents other projects from being funded even though there's a demonstrated need. The provisions in SB 108 clarifies the state engineer can request additional funds when the balance in the account, not including the committed funds, drop below the funding cap. SB 108 helps prevent multiple years delay for urgent needed clearing and snagging projects in the rivers. CWSD urges your support for SB 108. Thank you for your time.
And with that, Madam Chair, we are happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. I'm looking around. And we do have one. Assemblymember Watts.
All right, thank you, Chair. Do you have any idea when this amount was last adjusted? You noted kind of when this account was created. Obviously, we know that the costs for doing pretty much everything increase over time, but I was just wondering if you are aware of when this kind of amount was last adjusted.
For the record, Ed James, I believe the last time.
Never.
I think it's always been at 250.
Madam Chair, Senator Titus, for the record, it started out in the furthest back record I have from the actual, it's not always been funded, and we did give you this sheet. In 2016, it was given $200,000, and then in 2017, it's $250,000. And that was the last adjustment.
Okay, thank you. And then just, I think that this is how you explained it during your presentation, but I just want to make sure that my understanding is clear. So essentially, it's at $250,000. Then when somebody comes and accesses those funds, and it dips down, then the state engineer can come to the contingency account. But the account does not go above that amount, so it is only going back up to that. It's only been going back up to that $250,000, and then essentially the only caveat is that if there's a project that might go completely outside of that, then it looks like the state can ask for some additional money in order to make sure that the project can get done.
Senator Titus, for the record, and thank you, Assemblymember Watts, for the question and the clarification. Absolutely. So the key here is the maximum that would be allocated is the $500,000 to the account. The key about allowing for a request is that frequently these things can take a long time. They go out to bid, but once the funds have been allocated, we can't over-appropriate what we have allocated. And this just allows us, and I will use an example, as you are well aware of Cave Lake, where they put in, like for the dam, and they have the bids, and it takes years, literally, to get that going, although the funds were committed. In the meantime, all these other folks can't ask for any very much needed allocations of these funds. And so that just wording allowance for them. And then you have the matching federal things. Once those funds have been allocated, not necessarily used, then they can apply for federal funds when we're not waiting, but we can't do more than the maximum we've already requested.
All right, thank you very much. And if I may have one more, Chair?
Please.
Thank you. Mr. James, have you done any recent surveys of the Carson River by raft?
Thank you for your answer. Yes, but not as many as I hoped. This year, the Mother Nature was not as pleasant with us on the runoff, but yes, I've been on most of the sections of the Carson. Thank you.
Good to know. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will move on to testimony. So we will begin with testimony in support of SB 108 here in Carson City.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Taylor Avery, Tayloravery, and I am the Manager of Political Affairs for the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of SB 108. The changes in this bill will allow the state engineer more flexibility and easier access to funding for projects maintaining the state's waterways. Stability in Nevada's maintenance of water is critical for the future fiscal and general well-being of the state. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Austin Lemons, AUSTINLEMONS. I am the district manager for Dane Valley Conservation District. We are in support of State Bill 108. It helps us keep the Carson River functioning correctly, protecting not only housing but agricultural land as well. Thank you.
All right, anyone else here in Carson? Seeing none. Las Vegas, Elko, AVH.
To testify in support for Senate Bill 108, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, the lines are open and working. We have no callers choosing to testify in support.
Thank you. Next, we will hear testimony in opposition of SB 108 here in Carson City, Clark County, Elko, AVH.
To testify in opposition to Senate Bill 108, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
You're next.
Chair, we have no callers for opposition at this time.
Great. Let's go to neutral here in Carson City.
There it is. Thank you, Chair and Committee on Natural Resources. James Settlemyer, Director, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We are neutral on the bill, but completely understand that costs have gone up just a little bit since 2017. Thank you.
Anyone else here in Carson, Clark County, Elko, AVH?
To testify in neutral to Senate Bill 108, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers for neutral.
Great, thank you so much. Would you like to make any closing remarks?
Senator Titus, for the record, and I just want to acknowledge the time it took to hear this bill. I know we're all very busy, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 108 and open the hearing on Senate Bill 464, which deals with the Interstate Mining Compact. Thank you for our presenters today. You may begin whenever you are ready, sir.
Good afternoon, Chair. I am Rob Galleri, the Administrator for the Nevada Division of Minerals. Galleri is G-H-I-G-L-I-E-R-I. I work with the Division of Minerals and underneath the Commission on Mineral Resources. The Commission, under Mineral Resources, to advise and make recommendations to the Governor, Mining Oversight and Accountability Commission, and Legislature concerning the policy of the state related to minerals. The Division's mission is to encourage and assist the responsible exploration for and production of minerals, oil, gas, geothermal energy, which are economically beneficial to the state, provide for public safety by identifying and ranking securing dangerous conditions at mines that are no longer operating or our abandoned mines program, and collecting and disseminating information on exploration, production, and related topics. Every year, we record the annual production of each registered mine throughout the state, including oil, gas, geothermal as well. We permit all oil, gas, geothermal, dissolved mineral resource exploration drilling, and we operate the state's physical safety abandoned mine lands program. We also do provide mineral education outreach and manage a small reclamation bond pool for mining and exploration projects. As you all know, the mining plays a big role in the state of Nevada. We consistently rank in the top 5 for investigative attractive indexes of all mining jurisdictions in the world, and we've been first place 10 times. We also consistently rank in the top 3 for non-fuel mineral production within the United States and was number 1 in 2024. Nevada has been the largest gold producing state for over 30 years. Like I've said, we are the leader producer of gold, but also barite, lithium, and other significant producer of silver, copper, molybdenum, gypsum, diatomite, and others. With all the industry focus and ongoing items in the nation, these just highlight the need to ensure the state of Nevada has the ability to voice their opinion and role in the minerals industry of a compact commission like the Interstate Mining Compact Commission. What this bill will do is this bill will make the state of Nevada a full member of the Interstate Mining Compact Commission. The governor will become the Nevada's official commissioner within IMCC. The commissioners can appoint delegates to IMCC that serve on the state's behalf. IMCC is a multi-state governmental organization that supports the natural resources, related environmental protection, and mine safety and health interests of its member states. IMCC provides a united voice for the states and Congress, the administration, and federal agencies. Its consistent focus on state management of natural resources while maintaining a strong relationship with the federal government. As a member, the state of Nevada would be able to identify and defining issues of concern with the compact to address on behalf of the states, assist in the development of the position on the bills, rules, regulations, other focus on the mining industry from the state's perspective as the primary regulators of the industry. Participating in the development and execution of benchmarking and information sharing opportunities to enable states and continue to perform at the highest level and chairing the various roles of the committees on the compact. There is a fiscal note associated with this, but this has been addressed in our budget that's been approved with an enhancement pending the passage of the legislation. For the foreseeable future, all membership dues will be paid by existing fee revenue on mining claims and if there ever is a dedicated Hard Rock AML fund, then we'd be able to use those funds as well to fund this. The main portion of the bill is Section 2, and I'll discuss some key articles within Section 2. Article 1 of Section 2 discusses the importance of mining's economic significance to the state while highlighting the importance of ensuring that the effects of mining is evaluated to include soil, water, land, and other resources. Also, that all mining shall be conducted in accordance with sound conservation principles. Article 3 ensures that each member state of the compact has or will create a mining regulatory program and abandoned mine lands program to meet the intent of the compact. Nevada already has multiple agencies that address mining regulations and abandoned mines and have been highlighted at a national level for its programs. This will not create any new requirements to the Nevada's permitting agencies. The reason behind this is this compact language that needs to be adopted by all states was written in the 1970s when most states did not have regulatory agencies within the state. Article 4 of Section 2 requires a compact to study and collaborate between states and federal agencies on existing operation, processes, conservation, and restoration, and make recommendations to the governmental administration dealing with the laws. This Article 5 discusses the members of the commission, which is the governor of each state, and their roles and voting rules and bylaws. Article 9 of the section is important to state that nothing in this compact shall be construed to limit, repeal, or supersede any other law of any party of the state. Section 3 of the bill authorizes the governor to designate a representative, as stated before. Section 4 provides that the compact and any policy of the commission do not limit, repeal, supersede any law of the state, and the state of Nevada is not liable for certain obligations or solvency of the commission. Section 5 of the bill provides that the governor and legislature and their designated agent have the right to inspect the books of the accounts of the commission. Section 6 of the bill requires to file a copy of the bylaws with the Commission, Division of Mineral Resources, and Commission Mineral Resources and make available to the public. Section 6 requires the division administrator to pay the annual membership dues of IMCC or if authorized from certain grants of the federal government. Again, each of these dues are based off USGS reporting of mineral production on an annual basis, and stated earlier, it will have no impact to the general fund and be paid by existing claim fees. And with that, I'm here as well as I believe Tom Clark, who's the executive director of IMCC, is here for any questions.
Thank you so much, and thank you for going through that so quickly. I know that it was a little bit more in-depth probably, but thank you for recognizing our timelines. Are there any questions? Assemblymember DeLong.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for being here and getting through the compact language so well. I do note that it came out of the Senate 21-0, which was good to see. I just wanted to ask, did the Minerals Commission members vote to join the compact in unanimity, or were there any opposition?
Rob Galleri for the record. May I go direct? Assemblymember DeLong. Yes, the Commission on Mineral Resource, this was proposed to them by the division myself, I believe, a year ago, to pursue full membership. They all voted unanimously to move forward with that.
Vice Chair LaRue Hatch.
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you for being here today. So I really appreciated that this is not going to have an impact on the general fund, but it does cost public money. And so I just wondered if you could just summarize why it is worth this money paying into this fund to join this compact.
Should just leave it on. Rob Galleri for the record. So the funding for this is paid by fees that are paid by each individual mining claim. So every time somebody comes and stakes a federal unpatented mining claim on federal land in the state of Nevada, you have to pay with the BLM and the county. Then $10 of that is actually what funds the Division of Minerals, and that's the majority of our budget that comes from that. So the importance of this is we have seen in two parts. We have seen an increased conversation over the last 15 years about domestic mineral production, and it's been seen on a much larger scale recently. When IMCC, or the last administration, Biden-Harris administration, put out an interagency working group on mining law reform report. They used the Interstate Mining Compact Commission as the only mechanism to actually reach out and communicate with state permitting agencies. The only other states they met with was the Western Governors Association, and was a 20-minute presentation with no questions or answers. So having that ability to where when, at that point in time, Deputy Assistant Felgus was able to present and ask questions to us, when there's little comments of like, we don't know what's produced on federal lands, why I'm gonna raise our hand really quick, like, yes, we do, here's the data, here's the information, and having that ability to have that one-on-one connection with the higher level in DC, where there's a lot of disconnect between all the way down from the field office to the DC headquarters, right? Being able to voice how Nevada has been able to successfully create a reclamation cost estimator for each individual mine operation that is actually being used worldwide. Ability to find out what other states are doing, so what Colorado has done for other regulations, or Montana or others, and just have that constant communication back and forth. We feel it's really important. The second part is the abandoned mine lands program. It wasn't until the bill or bipartisan infrastructure law that there was actually a federal hard rock AML program created. It was just created only a few years ago, and IMCC played a huge role in getting that passed and moved forward to where there's actually going to be, hopefully, right? Hopefully there's money that needs to come from somewhere. The ability to have a significant amount of funding coming down to the states and have that constant communication where IMCC was actually working with DOI to help create that program and write the regulations that will best benefit the states.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I think we'll get started on testimony. We'll begin testimony in support of SB 464 here in Carson City.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nikki Bailey Lundahl. I'm the Vice President of the Nevada Mining Association. We are in support of this bill. We believe that Nevada should have a seat at the table as we're talking about important issues that arise in the mining industry. Thank you so much.
Seeing no one else here in Carson City, Clark County, Elko, AVH.
To testify in support of Senate Bill 464, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, this again is Jake Tibbetts from Eureka County, speaking on behalf of Eureka County. As many of you know, mining is very important to Eureka County, and for the reasons articulated by Mr. Galleri and Ms. Lundahl Bailey, and the duties of the Interstate Mining Commission, we believe our citizens and resources would benefit from the state's involvement in the Interstate Mining Compact. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
Chair, we have no additional callers for support.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear testimony in opposition of SB 464, starting here in Carson, Vegas, Elko, AVH.
Chair, we have no additional callers on the line for opposition testimony.
Thank you. We'll now next move to those who wish to testify in neutral. Carson, Clark, Elko, AVH.
We still have no callers for neutral.
Thank you so much. That concludes testimony on the bill. Would you like to make any closing remarks?
Again, Rob Galeri for the record. I just appreciate you guys' time today. I know how limited it is, and thank you for the hearing.
Thank you. I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 464. And let's get started on some work session. Pursuant to Assembly Standing Rules, the Speaker has approved work sessioning bills, even though we just heard these bills, and 24 hours has not yet passed. So we will now go ahead and start our work session. Before doing so, members, are there any questions on SB 36? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to do pass SB 36.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Chair LaRue Hatch, second by, let's go with Hanson this time. I think it was Hanson. Oh, never mind, then it was Assemblymember Watts. I get it confused, Are there any discussions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes unanimously. I will ask Assemblymember LaRue Hatch to do the floor statement. You'll get that piece of paper. Members, are there any questions on SB 108? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to do pass SB 108. Thank you. Motion's made by Vice Chair LaRue Hatch, second by Assemblymember Hanson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion's passed unanimously. And the last, SB 464. Are there any questions? Oh, floor statement. How about Hanson? You're the one that reminded me about it. I'll give it to you. No questions on SB 464. I will entertain a motion. I was not entertaining the motion yet. Now I will, though. I will entertain a motion to do pass SB 464.
Second.
Sounds like there's a motion from every single member, so we will make that Marzola.
The one person that didn't say.
And the second will come from Assemblymember Gurr. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously, and I will ask Assemblymember DeLong to do the floor statement. Wonderful, thank you so much. And we have arrived at the last item of our committee, which is public comment. Is there anybody here in Carson that would like to make public comment? Seeing none, Clark, Elko, AVH.
Chair, the public line is open and working, but we have no callers at this time.
Thank you. Since I'm 90% sure this will be our last meeting, again, I want to thank everyone that's been on the committee. Our staff is incredible. There's no way we could do this without you. And also, I want to make sure that we recognize our legislative police as well as our custodians and AVH for everything that you guys do for us. So thank you so much, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.